and their responses to our RFQ was, how do you envision, engaging the community? Give us examples where you've done this, and both, all of them had to, well, the environmental folks are they're already local, so they don't need to worry about it. But like Agri Solutions, for example, they do a lot of work in the Gulf for offshore oil and gas, and they talked about how they had local job training and worked with the university, and they actually opened like a training center there to basically assemble like the $100 cable stuff that they do. So they have like a factory in Mobile, Alabama that they put in. And so they were all, they got the message that that was something important to us. And like I said, even in their kind of pricing of projecting what costs might be, they said, well, there's kind of like the more heavier local economic development option, which might be a little more expensive than having it, put together in China. I think we can work with them on that. So.
Jen had this next year.
Incredible project, and I think one thing that would help you push it forward and make it go faster for the federal government is treating it as a pilot project here, which you said. You try different things. I was once commissioned a long time ago to do a film on solar energy and the solar cells, right? It was back in the 80s. I found a guy named Wilson Clark doing the research. He was energy secretary under Carter or something. He said that the amount of energy that it took back then in the late 70s, early 80s to make a solar wave for one of these guys was the same amount of energy it was going to put out in its lifetime. In other words, it was a glorified battery, right? Same thing is true of cars. They actually put out more in constructing it. So what I understand from turbines right now is that they can take the same amount of energy and carbon emissions to construct them as they put out in their lifetime. But this is an excellent place to experiment with that kind of different models you could have here. You've got the SHOT project, the Marsh, all kinds of things that we've done as pilots were incredible. It's a good place for a project. This is fantastic. Thank you.
And I'll say, I haven't done like a life cycle assessment of, wind turbine, light energy, but the projects in Europe are now getting to basically where they're cost competitive with conventional energy without subsidies.
Yeah.
And so they obviously, it's a zero-sum world where they're not getting a subsidy, they have to pay for the energy. It's like they can't get, they're paying for the energy to make it, then there has to be,
something to scale,
so,
that's a consumer.
Patrick?
Yeah, Matthew, then you talked about all the permits. That sounds expensive. How are you going to pay for the permit?
The guys with the $10 billion balance sheet are going to pay for it. Basically,
Okay.
that's one of the things they said. We asked them, how do you fund everything from now through 7 years of this stuff before you're actually doing the construction and have something that's producing revenue? And they said their model, what they do all over the world for projects is doing it off their balance sheet because they have that capability.
Sharon?
So there's a coming critical need with Diablo decommissioning. So, I would think that expedite this project would be critical for our.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think it's one of those things where I think the state kind of was like, oh wait a minute, this is for real, because like the state was sort of like, oh yeah, someday maybe this is going to be that, and then like wait, all these international companies that count their dollars and B's and and tens of billions of dollars are really interested in this, and so I think they kind of are kicking it into gear, and that's where we've actually seen a lot of interest from folks at the California Energy Commission and the state saying, all right, how can we help move this forward, because obviously this is starting to happen. Yep.
So in the end, who's going to own these platforms?
To be determined. So one, there's different options. We haven't gotten there yet. We kind of put this out there saying we want to work with somebody that wants to really be a partner with the community and have the community be involved in the decision making. How that plays out. Like it might be we do a joint lease application where RCEA on behalf of the community is one part of that, and then the developers the other half, and then that might shift as people start spending bigger chunks of money, and then we might sort of back out of it, so we're not in the owner-operator business when it's actually constructed, or again, that's to be determined. And so when I said partnership negotiations on the next steps, that's something that we're going to be sitting down with them to figure out what that looks like. Obviously, whoever's putting in the hundreds of billions of dollars is going to have some primary ownership stake because they're putting in the money, but they're interested in kind of this different model that we propose, and we've got a really good response from the developer folks.
Pete,
how do these things operate along with like marble murrettes? I mean, in the timber industry, it's a big deal dealing with marble murrettes. Can these things operate along with marble murrettes?
Yeah, so that's definitely an excellent question that I would not be presumptuous to say, oh yeah, we don't need to worry about biological impacts. you know, I will say the general sense we've gotten from talking with people that do know, that are experts in this, you know, have kind of said, the farther out you go, the better. And so starting to get out to 20 miles, you start to be, you know, that's past where there's gray whale migration generally, and there's still stuff out there. You know, there's albatross and some species of concern. I don't know if murrelets go that far out, but you know, again, this is not like a definitive answer, but the biologist folks have said the thing that's probably going to be the most sort of critical to monitor, evaluate is albatross, because they're a species that's, you know, actually out that far. But you know, it's one of the challenges is actually just going to be even how do you do monitoring, how do you do evaluation out in the middle of the ocean so that you're, you know, able to you know, make the case. It's like you can't just hang out there with some pair of binoculars, you know, or you know, say, oh, there's a dead eagle underneath the turbine. You know, it's like in the ocean, you know, how do you track that? So there's a whole kind of research area focused on that. Yeah.
Has there been any determination or estimation of how large an area offshore 20 miles? Is it like 20 acres or 400
Yeah, so
acres?
it probably, you know, the species are pretty big, and then you want them sort of spaced out from each other. So this is very, you know, back of the envelope, but you know, if we're talking, let's say 120 megawatts, that might be 10 or 12 of the mega turbines that they're at now, and they may be about a mile apart. So, you know, let's say a 12 square mile area for a project that big.
That's 12 square mile, that's 144 square miles, isn't it?
You have like a row of 10 of them, and then each have a mile kind of, you know,
Oh,
area
okay.
around it.
Yeah.
Well, I have a pressing question.
Looking at it from a perspective of opportunity for Humboldt Bay and Humboldt County, I think we can all agree there's only going to be X amount that's going to be needed off our coast. With that being said, if you looked at and considered the marketing potential of the Pacific Rim, the Pacific and Atlantic are hard to get into each other. Now, so far you said it's coming from Portugal, a lot of it's being done in Norway, Spain, England, France. It's still difficult to get to Humboldt Bay with pieces and parts. So if it was a larger market, it might behoove the investment of money. If we do have enough land, in my opinion, to create a manufacturing facility for something that's even 1 feet around.
Yeah, no, definitely, and I think the state is interested in that, you know, has brought that up of like, hey, you know, somewhere you're going to have a hub for these things, and you're going to, you know, invest in facilities that are potentially, you know, supplying, you know, that are the supply chain for not just a Humboldt County project, but for a West Coast market or a Pacific Rim, yeah, and you know, Asia as well, and so I think, you know,
easier ship product.
yeah, definitely.
From the Atlantic.
And I think there was actually a Berkeley professor did a report / like article about that. You know, highlighted the fact that Humboldt County really could be a good place to support that, you know, long-term, you know, larger scale market. So, you know, again, knock on wood, see where it goes. But I think that would be a goal, is to say, hey, you know, it's got to happen somewhere. Why not have it be our harbor?
Well, have you can consider the potential need or the marketing opportunity?
Yeah. So that's something that's gonna definitely, you know, I think there's a lot of interest in you, and even all the developer folks said, you know, okay, we're interested in, you know, breaking the seal and getting some project going, but where does this go in the long run? And that's where they really, you know, see the opportunity is the long term, having an actual industry on the West Coast where there's projects up and down, or, you know, in Hawaii and wherever.
Going to Korea, the Philippines, Malaysia, you know, even down into Australia.
Yeah.
Where can they have access to that Berkeley report, and what other reports can people have access to?
Yeah, so if you go to our webpage, which is redwoodenergy.org, we've got a number of links. I think all, like, you know, there's a number of reports that mention Humboldt and you know, talk about, you know, the opportunity up here. And so I think we've got links to all that on our webpage.
And the website is called what?
It's redwoodenergy.org. And somewhere in the menu there's, like, you know, offshore wind. So.
And you'll come back in a week or two when you have this all planned out.
Yeah, well, the blueprints.
Anyway, dessert is coming. We're a little bit not on the right track, so please stay for dessert. And if there's any more pressing questions.
A quick one is, I'm on the board of Access Humboldt, and where do you hold your meetings?
At the Water District office.
Okay, because if you held them in one of the places that's already outfitted, the city of Eureka, or
Yeah,
then you could air the things, because I would totally encourage you to And maybe you want to do, like, if you present this to the Board of Supervisors, take that section, I can help you with it, take that section and just bookend it, put something on at the beginning and afterwards, and let people see it, and then you can link it so anybody can see it.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
It'd be great.
Well, I'd like to thank him,
Yeah.